Hello, 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 and welcome to another episode of the We Don't Wanna podcast. We are your hosts. I am Scott, and joining me as always, he is really going to town on that chicken with that fork and knife. It is Zachary Attackery, and we are also joined, before I let you speak, Zach, by special guest, our boy Chaz. What is up, Chazzy boy?
I can't do that very well. I'm doing fantastic, guys. Thanks for having me.
It's more of a brant, brant, brant.
Wow, ouch. Just
well, that'll do it for Chaz this evening. You guys have a good one.
Shots fired at Chaz so early. We are here. We are back. We are talking House of Dragon. I think
House
we are
of Dragon, huh?
House of Dragon. I'm so hype I can't even say the full title. Are we...
Why use many word when little word do trick?
Exactly. Is it fair to say we're all pretty hype right now?
I am rock solid, my guy.
So, the reason Chazzy Boy is joining us this fine evening is, like, the second we all finished watching the episode tonight, Chaz texted and was like, someone's gotta talk to me about this fucking episode. We have to fucking talk about this. So I was like, hey, jump on the pod with us and we'll chat about it, because that's what we do. So
that definitely happened, and I was just telling Zach, and I know we were trying to save it for the pod, but this episode has beat out so many even Game of Thrones episodes for me. I could not be more hype about this episode.
I can attest.
So good.
We were on FaceTime.
Can attest. Yeah, man.
Boy.
Just to start it off, everyone who watched last week knows I was a little down on last week's episode. Didn't think it was great, and this, like, all fears dispelled and assuaged. Like,
All.
this episode had me entertained and like fucking on the edge of my seat and intrigued throughout the entire thing. It was fantastic.
It was unbelievable.
Yes, agreed.
And I know I feel like I'm the one that always tends to bring up the sound and the music, but like
True.
constantly this episode was just littered with beautiful scoring.
Yes. I was trying to make
so
more
good.
note of it this week. The soundtrack this week, all the songs were incredible. There was like some really good like choral, like choir type like arrangements like throughout. Man, it was good.
I don't think choral is how you say that.
I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah.
I think coral is like a flower in the ocean, my guy.
I don't think it's a flower.
I don't think it's a flower, buddy.
But no, it's
Foliage,
definitely
you know?
foliage. Your face is foliage. No, choral, like a choral arrangement. That's definitely.
Whoa, what the
Aren't you the music guy? What? What happened?
Yeah, something with the video.
Yeah,
Oh,
something flashed. We saw. Do you have like a One Piece wallpaper?
No. I do have a One Piece wallpaper, of course.
Oh yeah, we
Why
just
did
saw your
that
desktop.
Oh,
Make sure all
sick.
your porn is closed.
Even Scott's
I
desktop
always-
is like, man, that was a really stupid
Choral,
thing to say.
composed for or sung by a choir or chorus. Oh, look who's the music guy now, Zachy boy. You little
Hey.
bitch boy.
Cheers, my guy.
I fucking hate you. Anyway.
Yeah, man, the sound was beautiful this episode. It was, it had me on the edge of my seat. Like, from the fucking, probably like 35 to 40 minute mark, I was sitting on the edge of the sofa.
Yeah.
Like, it was constant tension
Mm-hmm.
in my pants too. It was just like, there were so many directions that I was like, I don't know where this is gonna go.
Yeah.
And I was so entertained by it, man.
Yeah.
Had major Red Wedding vibes for sure. With the amount of tension, not necessarily just that it was a wedding, right? But
Sure.
the amount of tension and to Zach's point, the music and all that, you're like, oh shit, this is serious.
I hadn't thought of that, but I can see what you're saying with like where like the crowd starts pressing and it's like, you know, it shows a lot of shots of like Viserys and like the head table and they're like looking and they don't know what's happening, and it's just like a similar not the same instances or like what's happening, but just like a similar vibe of just like confusion and unease was
Yes.
definitely happening there
Yes.
at the end. So
But we
that's a
don't
good
want to
shout out,
spend this
Chaz.
entire time talking about the last kind of scene here.
Right.
Let's walk through a couple of I mean anything that comes to the top of our head. If you have notes, great. If you don't, you guys know how we do it here. I think the first thing I would like to start off by saying
Mm-hmm.
is I am constantly scratching my head and like sitting at the edge of my seat with anticipation watching Daemon. I don't understand, like I don't know who he is and what he's going to do, and he's a loose cannon, and I love it.
I
Yeah.
have been up and down on Daemon, but
Yeah, you have.
not in that way. I wish. Matt Smith,
No,
very
no,
attractive
no, no,
human
no.
being.
He's pushing rope, my guy.
Yeah. He would have to be up and down on me.
I'm fine with
Or wait,
receiving
is it
some
the
rope.
other way around?
I'm fine with receiving some rope. Get a little lasso going over here.
Listen, man, I have not been down on Daemon, although, wouldn't take much. I am
You have gone down on Daemon.
I am super high on Daemon, and I have been since the first episode. I get why that might not suit everyone, and that might not be everyone's take on Daemon, but I've been high on Daemon.
Sorry, and I'm sorry, Scott. I know that you please don't forget what you wanted to.
I was literally in the middle of something, but it's fine.
I know. But hold on. This is actually kind of to our audience and to anybody who might be finding us. Scott and I have been riding the girthy dick of King Viserys because we love him.
My fucking
and the masses of House of the Dragons fans are obsessed with Daemon, and I feel like maybe Scott and I have not given him the love that he deserves. And Chaz is on the show now, so Chaz, you can continue to lube up and stroke that dick. I am enjoying Daemon quite a bit, but Chaz has been in his corner since episode 1. Has been constantly like, "Yo, this is my guy." So just giving credit where it's due. You're not a fair weather fan. Chaz has been all about Daemon.
If you would have allowed me to finish, what I was going to say was, great clips, Daemon. Since he has come back with his fancy new haircut.
Supercuts, my guy.
Supercuts Daemon. I am on board for. Also, Supercuts Daemon is a fucking savage throughout this entire goddamn episode. Like, literally from the first scene he's in, where I was just like, damn, dude!
That's brutal, my guy.
That's brutal, my dude. Like, what the hell? And then up until his scene, like, where he's brutal with his words to that other dipshit whose name I can't remember. Supercuts Daemon goes hard. He doesn't give a fuck. And I guess Daemon never gave a fuck. But there's just something about, in this episode specifically, like, it jumped out even more of like, yo, my dude is like through playing around. He is. He's going
definitely
hard in the paint.
And like so I had a thought during this episode, and I was like, I feel like it is maybe a little strange to me that Daemon made the trip to the Vale to kill his wife himself. Like, somebody in his position, you would think that like it would just be easier to like have a hired hand.
That's not Daemon's style, though.
And I argued with myself, I think, like, about this, and I was like, that just wouldn't be a very Daemon move.
Also, that's probably why he was all cloaked up, because he was, I'm sure, there incognito. The guy didn't make any mention of like, I know you were in the Vale around the same time she died, so I'm sure this was done, in secret. Obviously.
I want to go on record as saying I don't really advocate for violence against women, but man, that bitch had that coming.
I don't know.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that. She seemed fine. Like, I mean, yeah, she was an asshole to him, but
he was also
everything
an asshole
he's done is like 100% that he deserves it. So
Yeah, no, I mean he has not shown her any love since episode 1, so you're probably right. But
I don't think he
man,
showed her any love in episode
I think
1.
he means from the
oh,
beginning.
did I say that backward? I mean, Scott meant what I knew.
Exactly.
He's definitely not shown her any love since that early on in the series, so probably not.
Wait,
but
have
man,
we
the
seen
low
her?
blows.
No, this is the first time we've
The
seen
constant
her. But
references
he's
to
talked about her.
Bronze
and referenced
bitch
her.
and things like that.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, man. Super brutal. Okay, so I really want to talk about this. I can't remember if we said it on the pod or not, Scott, but last week I had this like feeling, and I want to clarify. There are probably many of you guys watching who have read Fire and Blood, and all of you consistent listeners, you know this. If you're new here, we haven't read Fire and Blood, and so one of the things that I was just kind of feeling is that like Alicent has been such a bystander and so innocent and borderline like naive, and I really felt like with Otto getting canned as the Hand, we were going to start to see a little bit more of like, I don't know that I would necessarily say a heel turn, but
Sure.
we were going to start seeing some friction from her.
Yes.
And man, this scene with Otto and Alicent when Otto is leaving the Red Keep is fantastic.
Very
dude.
good. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I think we have. It hasn't been a consistent thing, but I think there were a couple scenes where we weren't like terribly fond of her acting performance. But I thought she was fantastic.
She was incredible.
This entire episode.
Yes.
And this scene in particular, it's tough because my main thought after this has happened, it was like I wanted to like sympathize with Otto because he was like, you know, like he's telling her these hard truths about like, listen, this is what's gonna happen. Rhaenyra will have to like basically kill your children because they are threats to her rule. Blah blah blah. But then my mindset flipped where it's like, well, this is ultra shitty because you're the one that put her in this position, dude.
Yeah.
It seemed like this like tender moment, like where he's like trying to like look out for her and, you know, have her like well-being in mind. But then it was like she even says something along the lines of like your relentless pursuit for like the throne type situation. And I'm like, yeah, dude, you put her in this difficult position where she now has to choose.
I feel like in this scene we might see a little remorse from Otto. I think, I mean, hindsight's 20/20, and I don't think that he is necessarily going back on like his aspirations and what he has been trying to accomplish for his house. But I think that maybe he's just kind of getting a little bit of a gut check. Like he's not going to be there to protect them or to protect her and Aegon.
Right.
But he is feeling like I am having to leave this in her hands and I'm leaving my daughter in a really shitty position.
Yeah.
So I think it's a fantastic scene. He tells her, you know this to be true, but you choose not to see it. And she starts to cry. Mm-hmm. And unlike how I felt in, I believe it was last episode, she sold this scene. I was bought into this. She did a fantastic job.
Yeah, leading up to this episode, I wasn't bought in, and I couldn't figure out if it was the acting, the writing, like what part of Alicent wasn't I bought in. And it's clearly now very intentional that the writers were just keeping that character quiet until we sort of woke the dragon, so to speak.
I think that's a pretty good take, man, because I feel like it's two things. I feel like obviously from the writer standpoint, you don't want to show your hand too early, of course, right?
Yeah.
But also from a character standpoint, and a real thing that I feel like maybe we can relate to is like she has been forced into this position. Mm-hmm. Like she has not had these dreams and these aspirations, and she is quite literally a bystander to you know, her father's dreams and aspirations.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's kind of been operating like this empty shell, I feel like. And I feel like that's maybe what we've seen, and it hasn't been so entertaining or compelling as a viewer. But now I really, really, really get the sense that like she, man, I caught some like badass vibes from her
Yeah.
coming out in during the feast.
Yes.
I think she's gonna be a powerful character.
I am buying the Alicent stock like big time. Like
Yes.
I completely agree with both of you. I think she was intentionally like written and portrayed as like a bystander, and we see even like, you know, her kind of realizing and coming to terms with that when she's talking with, was it Laris Strong, who is the Hand's
Yes.
son, I
Yeah,
believe.
Son, yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, I just thought you might need an ally," and she's kind of like, "I'm the queen. I have no shortage of allies," and he's just kind of like, "Okay, sure." You keep telling yourself
okay.
that. Okay. And it's like you could almost see that realization on her face of like, yeah, who is on my side here, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
I think that was a big start of the shift of her like becoming, you know, less of a bystander and more of a player. And
I hate to keep
really interested in seeing where that goes. Go ahead, Chess.
I hate to keep drawing parallels to Game of Thrones, but that whole conversation had a very Varys sort of a feel to it. Just the way he was planting those seeds was very reminiscent of when he would do that with like Ned.
Not as subtle as Varys, though,
No.
I feel like. Although Varys wasn't
definitely.
subtle with Ned because Ned doesn't understand
Because
subtlety,
Ned was too
so-
stupid.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
I love it. Bless your heart, old dead Ned.
Old dead Ned. Yeah. I kind of scratched my head a little bit at Laris. Like I couldn't tell.
Oh, Larry?
Yeah, old Larry.
Oh, Larry?
I couldn't really tell like what game he was playing or if he was playing a game.
Sure.
Seems
Like, where
sort
does
of
he fall into this?
Yeah.
Is he just the messenger? Is he, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I don't know. I would be interested to see like what role he plays, or if he's just gonna be this kind of like, you know, pops out and is like, hey, I'm gonna deliver some info and then peace out.
Yeah.
But whatever. It doesn't really take away from the fact that like the dialogue that they had was great, and that is one thing that the show as a whole, I think we've been high on this, but we need to shout it out explicitly. Like the dialogue in the show has been
phenomenal.
fantastic.
It's
been
very
so good and so captivating, and it can truly make or break a show.
Mhm.
And you know, I hate to compare here, but I like, for those of you all out there watching the Rings of Power, I mean, I haven't been entranced by a conversation, you know, between two characters the way that any conversation in this show so far has made me feel. So it's just super big kudos, man, to the writers of House of the Dragon. This has been so good, just so fun so far.
Then we get to see Driftmark, which again, we've called it out many times, but like the set dressing and the production values like in this fucking castle are just
and
like
the ships too, by the way.
Everything. Like
Yes.
Just next level. Like that castle looked so fucking cool. It looked like it had like a history and like its own whole vibe, and just like it wasn't just a medieval castle, you know, like I feel like we got a decent number of just very basic ass, you know, kind of what you would think of as medieval castles in Game of Thrones. Like this place was cool as hell, and I was just like, I was having trouble even concentrating on like the characters and what they were talking about, because I was like looking all around the whole set on like, I was like, this place just looks rad. There was like that big long like road like kind of through the water leading to it, even like man, that place was just cool, man.
Yeah, I agree completely, man. You know what I think is like really cool and exciting is earlier this season. So like I think it was probably the first episode. I feel like you and I, Scott, we had a conversation about how we are a little worried and apprehensive because the show may be too narrow.
Sure. Yes.
And although it is telling a much more intimate and narrow story, which I have
am totally yeah.
Yeah, I have fully
Cool
grown to
with
love
that.
and appreciate and accept. I can distinctly recall. I mean, take yourself back to when Game of Thrones was still airing, and how there was like a lot of buzz and excitement about like, ooh, are we finally gonna get to see like Hightower or the
Sure,
Rock
sure.
or
Yeah.
And I feel like already we're seeing more of Westeros.
Yeah.
In this show, and it's not as like centered, right, and like
Sure.
and focused, but we're seeing a lot,
Definitely.
and I'm so here for it.
Yes, definitely than like 1-to-1 versus like the first season of Game of Thrones, obviously.
Another thing that I kind of want to call out in the way that they're telling that story in a more narrowed scope, I consider myself to be more of a casual watcher than the two of you. So for people who don't completely nerd out over all of the lore and the entire world, not that I don't, but for people who are more casual watchers, this is a much easier story to follow. It can be a little bit overwhelming with the billions of names in Game of Thrones and the billions of characters you have to become familiar with. This is a much easier story to follow, so inherently it's a much more engaging story. And then of course we come here. This was the first time this episode on the ship to what's the name of the place? I'm already brain farting. Driftmark. I don't know how many times you thought Viserys was gonna bite the bullet this episode, but I think I must have counted like 5 or 6 times. Like, okay, it's happening now.
Times.
And
that was the first one for me.
Yeah, that's I like what you called out there a second ago, Chaz, because about the narrower scope, like we talk a lot in our Game of Thrones recaps about like how like we love the scope, but also there are times when we're like, oh, here's a fucking Bran scene, like who gives a shit, or here's Daenerys, or here's Theon, we don't really care. This show is doing an excellent job of just narrowing the focus to like really good, interesting characters, to where it's like, oh, I care about all of this.
Yes,
and
exactly.
that
it's incredibly efficient.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what's been super fun about this first season and this episode especially.
So I mean, not a whole lot else on Driftmark. I was interested to see Laenor is more interested in men than he is women.
Mm-hmm.
We've all got that in common, apparently.
Yeah, no kidding. I was immediately like, oh, this is great for Crisco, and this is great for Laenor's lover.
Dude.
And then I was like, I kind of thought about it for a second. I was like, that's not gonna go over well with Crisco.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to the scene where they're talking on the boat, and I was like, my guy is down bad, dude.
He is down so bad. At least, like, okay, so a couple things on our dude, Sir Crisco.
Mr. Vegetable Oil.
First thing I just want to point out, he's looking great in this episode. My dude is hot. I don't know if we've called that out enough.
We should have.
We should have. He just looks phenomenal throughout.
He's a hot motherfucker. I asked Amanda, I was like, you think he's hot? And she was like,
are you high? Yeah.
Yes.
Second,
I mean, also that bar is pretty low for Amanda Theon.
Wow.
I don't think Amanda thinks Theon's hot.
Called out Adam Driver though.
She does like Adam Driver. A lot of women like Adam Driver.
Adam Driver. Anyway,
I don't know a single
Amanda.
one.
That's pretty funny.
You do know a single one. That's my wife. It's Amanda.
True.
My wife.
My wife. No, we killed that joke.
We killed that joke a long time ago. Secondly, shoot your shot, my dude. Way to shoot your shot, Sir Crisco. Be like, hey, I know you're set to be the queen and all, but what if you could marry me instead? It's like, that's my goat right there. That's my dude.
Yeah, that was a real Pawn Stars moment. Best I can do is being homeless in SOS.
Oh, you want queen? Best I can do is beat homelessness.
Best I can do is this. Dude,
oh
so
my god.
I couldn't help but feel a little like really, we're gonna do the whole like, hey, how about we ride off into the sunset and get married together in far away distant land. We're gonna do that. We're going there, but it was saved entirely by her response and the turmoil that we could see. I kind of got taken out of the scene because I was like, that's a little like predictable and cliche and like a classic trope in any love story, right? And it kind of took me out just a hair. And then she gives her response and she's like, no, I am the crown.
I am the crown.
And this is bigger than me. This is bigger than any of us. And she tells him no, essentially, and his
world collapses.
I mean, yeah, obviously our guy is down bad.
You want me to beat your whore?
I know, right?
Best I can do is make you my whore.
Yeah. So I'll do you one better. You can be my whore.
There could be a lot worse things for you, like, my dude, like, come on, like, you're down bad for no reason.
I will say, like, I have liked Crisco's character quite a bit, excuse me. And his response of like this is the highest honor that I've held, and like I've stained that, I've tainted it.
Yeah.
And he truly is heartbroken, like for his like what he wanted to be a relationship, but also like for his honor and his house, and I mean that is important to him and to people in this time.
Yes.
And he's an honorable person, clearly, you know?
Well, my dude has honestly got like Sansa levels of naivete going on, because he
Agreed.
First of all, when he shoots a shot
himself.
is phenomenal. But then also he's like it seems like his whole rationalization for this was like, I dishonored my vow, I bloodied my cloak, this is all I have, blah blah blah. I thought if I married you, I could make everything right. And it's like, not really how that works, my dude.
What fairy tales are you reading, my guy?
What literal fairy tales are you reading? You already broke the vow. You'd just be breaking it again by, like, because Kingsguard serve for life. So you'd just be breaking your vows more again to go run off with her. Like, Sansa levels of naivety from my dude here.
I agree. I did think
he is on some copium.
Was a this was a little. It was a little cringe, and then I couldn't help but think it was just some of the best comedy we've seen in this series when he has his meeting with Alicent, and he sells the absolute fuck on himself, dude.
Yeah, dude. Like, I so saw that coming too. It was just like I was watching a car wreck. I couldn't look away. I was like, oh, she's not even talking about you, dude. The whole, but you're just gonna volunteer the information, aren't you? You're just gonna volunteer it. It's true. I did it. It's true. I fucking did it. I banged her hard. I banged her long and hard. Damn,
dude.
Oh my god, dude.
Yeah, from the second that she like motioned to him to sit down, and he like took a couple steps, and she scoots over and she's like, no, here.
She does.
Come here, come sit here.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh fuck, dude. You can tell, man, our guy is down bad.
Yeah. Very good stuff. I loved their scene too.
And
he's just like, again, my dude is very much on the naive side, I'm realizing, where he's just like, please don't torture me, please don't kill me. I just ask for an honorable, quick death. Just like bearing his soul, and she's just like, okay, see ya.
Time to go.
Peace.
Dude. Okay.
He's so confused.
All right, so we get to the feast. And
was there anything else? Did we miss anything else we need to talk? I feel like there was more.
Pretty much.
Feast
now.
We have to talk about Viserys and his gross ass arm.
Right. Yeah, my no. Actually, you're right. I did skip this. Dude, our guy Viserys ain't looking so hot.
Dude, this was the biggest one. Chaz mentioned the 5 times throughout the episode. When he closed his eyes, I know he was going to sleep, and it faded to white. I was like, no! He's gone! That's my last scene I get of him! No!
Well, and I think they did that super intentional too, because it even went to like a shot of clouds, and you're like, oh,
it was like he's going up to heaven.
His face even like because it like did the whole like double exposure thing where like it faded into the clouds, and his face was still kind of etched there. It was like honestly kind of a little corny. But like, I was like,
fucking love
my
it.
guy is gone.
Not my fucking guy. I do want to talk a little bit more about this scene though, because I loved the conversation he had with Lionel, where he's like asking about his legacy, basically, more or less.
Yes.
And this is the crux of this character that I have found so interesting, so intriguing, where he's just done his best. He's not been like some incredibly great king or grandiose, or like he's not Aegon the Conqueror. He's not been a shit terrible king like the Mad King. He's kind of faced all these issues, and he's just kind of, he's just a man.
Yeah.
And he's done what he can. He's done what he's best, and he's kind of gotten this raw deal in a lot of ways. And Lionel is like, I would say, hey, isn't peace, worth something? And, is kind of trying to reassure him. But I love that moment that we get from Viserys, where he's just questioning all of his life choices.
One piece of that conversation especially that stands out to me, where he says something to the extent, I'm paraphrasing here, I almost wish that I had been challenged.
Right, yes, where I'd been tested, yeah.
I had been tested and see if I could rise to yada, 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 right? And Lionel Richie responds by telling him, many people that are faced with these types of challenges, in the end, they wish they never were.
Yeah.
Again, paraphrasing. And I love Viserys' response. He essentially says, any other man would have sat there and told me and lied to me, basically, and told me that I would have risen like Aegon the Conqueror to face my challenges, yada, yada, yada. And he's like, essentially, you know me. You know what I am. You know that's not the truth, but you're still here for me anyway. Yeah. And it's just, look, we talked about this a million times. The dialogue in this show is just fucking through the roof.
And the performances.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did look it up, by the way. I am liking Lionel Richie quite a bit. Yeah. His name is Gavin Spokes.
Good on you, Gavin Spokes.
Shouts to him, because I know that his name is going to not be something that's like super remembered, but he deserves some credit. Sure. He's done great every time he's been on screen.
Yep. Agreed. Now I think
I was a little confused because of how much of a straight shooter Lionel is with Viserys. That scene made me go back to what his son was doing earlier in the garden, and you're like, what the hell is the game here? Because it seems like they're not simpatico here.
Yeah,
he and his son, and I think
I definitely got that sense that they are not working together or have a plan or anything like that together.
I actually, before we move to the feast, Scott, you talking about Viserys made me want to say this. I don't know if either of you guys have seen this. I think maybe Chaz, I may have sent this to you, but there was an interview with George Martin talking about like some of his favorite characters in the show, and he jokingly is like, that's like asking me, like which one of my children I love the most, and he's like, you would think, or he's like, traditionally I like the way that I write them, and when they change them,
I don't like
they change them, I prefer my way.
Yeah.
But he's like, the one time that I have been truly captivated is the way that Miguel Sapochnik, which is the showrunner of House of the Dragon, has crafted Viserys, because Viserys is apparently, again, I have never read the book, but apparently is a much more straightforward, just weak character. He's weak and soft.
I've heard that.
And he's like, the way that he is written for the show is so much more human, and kind of like what you said, like he's a man struggling with decision. He's so much more conflicted and so much more interesting. And it's so cool to see George Martin say that. because
cool.
it's one of the things that you and I, Scott, have been truly adoring about Paddy Considine's performance of him is just how normal, but just obviously not normal this man is. Yeah.
I think that's exactly it. Like he is almost an everyman type character, but he's the king. So he's like, so much more is expected of him. And, you know, we've joked about it in past episodes. It's like, obviously he's got this illness and a bunch of other shit going on, but like half the time my dude just looks like he needs a nap, just so bad. He just needs a fucking nappy. Like so many times throughout this episode too, it's just like, oh yo, just let my boy rest. Just let him rest.
It's like there keeps being memes of the Ben Affleck with the cigarette. Like,
yes.
Fucking dude, that is Viserys constantly. It's so funny, 100%. Dude.
My favorite one is one that I shared with Zach earlier today. They said he's like, Viserys just wants to fucking play with his Legos and you guys won't leave him alone.
That's very good. Yeah, hell yeah.
Okay, so look, I think we're ready to talk about this feast, man. So there's
is that Alicent's music I hear?
Well, from the start of this scene, man, there's the quick cuts to the hands banging the drums.
Yeah.
And the party kind of drum fun music. It goes through a couple different like movements in this, and it starts off light and fun and soft and whatever. But it's still in your face. It's still like, like this is a little much. You get the entrances, right, which I haven't been a fan of House Valerian too much so far, but their entrance was pretty powerful, pretty cool. Mm-hmm. I liked that quite a bit. And just noticing like when Jason Lannister brings up like where's the queen, I wanted to like pay my courtesies or whatever the fuck he said, and I was like, man, what is going on?
Yeah, dude, that was the first. I was like, when they specifically called out like, oh, Alicent isn't here, that was when I was like, what she
something's
gonna
go on
though?
Here.
Like
she's
not
just
Alicent
putting her
cooking,
makeup
though?
on, you know what I mean?
Right,
She's
exactly.
Something's happening, something's brewing.
Like, what do she be cooking though? Like, what is she up to?
Okay, hold on. Before Alicent even walks in, we get Daemon's entrance, which is silent. There's no music in this part. There's no music in this part.
Supercuts Daemon.
Supercuts Daemon. True. No music in this. He walks in and it is silent. And
it's so awkward.
It is so fucking awkward. And Viserys just kind of like motions to the seat like,
I guess get him a chair. Damn.
This is such a small, tiny thing, dude. What really sold this for me is the super awkward, like, face scratch that Viserys does.
Yes,
he's
dude,
like,
yes.
And he's
I
like,
noticed that too.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, dude.
Just like
his mannerisms are on point, dude. I love my guy Paddy Considine. He's nailing it.
Yeah, man.
He does. And then he like later when Alicent comes in, he just turns to Lionel's like, the hell was I? What was I saying?
What the fuck is going on?
Yeah, what the hell is going on? So good.
Okay.
Hold up.
Okay.
I cannot believe we are like 30 plus minutes into this conversation, and I have not brought up the fact that there is a new greatest character in Game of Thrones history, and his name is Jason Lannister.
Oh my god.
This fucking guy is my dude. That joke he tells about
it's so bad.
Oh, it's a good thing the men go to war, the women would always be late to the battle, or something like fucking that. I was like, this my guy right here. He's corny as all hell.
Dude,
he's like if Edmure thought he was
rich.
Like was rich and like had way more self-confidence. Like Jason Lannister is my fucking dude, man.
If our friends, and this is super specific and doesn't apply to most of the listeners, so I apologize, but if our friends were Game of Thrones characters, Our friend Jeff is Jason Lannister in that scene.
You think so?
No.
Yes.
No.
I
With
kind
the
of like
dad
this
jokes.
analogy. I
I
kind
mean,
of like
okay,
this
the dad joke, sure. No.
I don't know. He's not as arrogant as my guy Jason is.
That's
Yeah,
fair.
yeah.
That's fair.
Oh my god.
We love
Shout out.
Jesse boy.
He sucks so hard. He's so stupid and I love him
He's
to
so
death.
fucking amazing. Yeah.
Oh,
He's
so dumb.
just the best. He sucks. And I love him. Anyway, sorry, continue with what you were gonna say, Zach.
Yeah, no, so during Viserys' speech, Alicent shows up.
Yeah.
Dude, she walks in, man, and I just I need to say this for the record. Immediately, I turned to Amanda and I was like, "Oh fuck, she's wearing green."
Oh fuck, she's wearing.
Dude, and she's like, Amanda's like what? And I was like, well, that's the Hightower's color. Like, we've only seen her in black and red since they got married. Dude, Scott laughed so hard he pulled his
I missed
fucking
everything you just said.
I was saying, you just laughed so hard you pulled your fucking headset.
Yeah, I did. Dude, fuck, she's wearing green.
Yeah. Like, Amanda's like, what do you mean? What's wrong with that? And I was like, well, no, it's just like that's gonna be a problem. Like, or I think it's just supposed to be like symbolic. Like, that's the Hightower's color, and like,
And you
haven't.
You said this before. My
I
guy
said this
Larry
before.
called it out. Okay.
Hold on, what I want to clarify here. I was like, that's just the Hightower's color. Like, we've only seen her in like blacks and reds, or black and red, like for Targaryen, since she got married to whatever his fuck. And
Whatever is fuck.
and then immediately after that, they give us the info about like how it's kind of like a call to arms in essence.
Sure.
And I was like, oh, that's even more than what I was just like, it's just symbolic, right? Like the house colors is very
Sure.
I
in
thought
your
she was
face.
just being a rebel.
Well, I just thought like, oh, this is a visual representation of her like turn, which I think it still is, but it's more
Yeah.
meaningful now because I didn't realize that that's how
Zach-
they would interpret it.
Zach was just critiquing her outfit as like a
Oh.
A fashion critic. Like,
Man, you
know,
wearing
Take
green
notes.
to a wedding?
She's wearing green.
Right. She's wearing
How
white
bold of
after
you.
Labor Day. What a fool.
Doesn't she know this is a wedding?
Yeah,
She's wearing green so Viserys can go ahead and die.
Dude, yeah. Essentially, yes.
I don't know, that was the best I could do. Sorry, listeners.
Yeah. Who invited this guy?
Oh my god.
Oh, I'm pointing the wrong way.
Dude, that's still. Oh fuck, she's wearing green. is,
Yo,
like,
I
the
straight up, I said that
funniest-
shit, and Amanda was like, it's funny because Amanda's like holding her blanket and like pillow, and she's like, why? Like,
What? Why? What?
and I was just like, no, it's just
So
this means it's a problem.
funny.
Like she's, it's not the Targaryen color, and yada yada yada.
That was like one of the things, because I called Zach because I didn't know who else to call, and I figured Scott might still be watching the episode because of work.
Yeah.
So that was like one of the first things Zach said on the phone call. Dude, she was wearing green.
Dude, she was wearing.
saw that shit. Oh my god.
Hell yeah, that's amazing.
Yo, this
This escalates quickly. Also, like this
And-
is definitely the
really got out of
Anchorman
hand
meme of like
fast.
that really got out of hand fast.
it is one hell of a fucking like tension roller coaster
Yes.
from the second she walks in. Well, honestly,
Yeah.
even since before, because of Daemon's entrance, it's just like
Yeah,
the
yeah,
music
from
stops, it starts
Daemon's.
building the tension, and then this song, Scott, that starts playing.
Is it the choral song?
Well, no, not yet. It's still just the
Fuck.
the sea anemone song.
Yeah, the Great Barrier Reef song.
Yeah, dude. No, it's just we keep getting those cuts, dude, to the drums banging.
Yes, yeah.
And it's just like building and getting faster and getting louder, and this dance is going, and it's like ha ha ha, fun, so happy, and then it's like not so fun and happy. It's so much tension. Almost reminds me of Dunkirk, the way that the music is done in this. Like, it's just so
okay.
like invigorating and like
I can see where you're coming from, but I don't know if I.
anxious.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from. I don't know if I can fully get behind it as far as that goes. I just have I don't know if this is a hot take or not, but I have a quick comment here. Um, Westerosi dancing is dumb. Like
Oh yeah.
their dances are stupid as hell, man. Like
Yeah.
they look real dumb doing those dances. I was
I'm
kind of
more of a fan
mesmerized by
of
that.
Dothraki
Yeah,
dancing.
I'm more of a
big
fan
time.
of Heath Ledger and The Knight's Tale. Let's fucking get
Yes,
some.
yes. There you go.
That's
That's
some
the
good stuff
reference
right there.
I bring you for, Chaz. That's my guy right there.
Uh,
Yes, but like just like once like the fight breaks out, I love the way they did this about like how they kind of showed flashes of who was involved. The very quick rapid cuts here I thought were absolutely phenomenal because it was like, oh shit, okay, so Criston is involved, like he's fighting someone. Is it Daemon? Like, oh fuck, what's going on? Was he like prying Daemon off of her? Like, where's Daemon at? And then like you get like, oh, like Rhaenyra is like shoved to the side and Laenor is shoved to the side, and then it cuts back to the head table and Viserys is like, what the fuck is going on? And it was just like it was so effective at just like you said, building that tension, Zach, and being just like, what is happening? I need to
Yes.
show me what is fucking happening.
yes.
Just edging me on over here, and then it was just like not what I
So
expected.
it's a lot of stop and go if you know.
yeah, a lot of stop and go action, and
Do we think?
and it was not what I expected at all. I truly
No.
thought he was fighting Daemon.
Do we think Sir Crisco might have overreacted a little bit?
I think he might have overreacted.
Look, we've seen this. So like a couple parallels here. We've seen
my
this
God.
with Rhaenyra when she kills the boar. I mean,
Oh,
obviously
yeah.
way less like interested in that scene. But like that was obviously a very personal experience for her, right? She was
Yeah,
taking out
yeah.
a lot of anger and like she was upset with herself, upset with her situation and whatever. And I mean, it's kind of the same thing for vegetable oil over here, Crisco, my guy.
That seems like.
I
Yeah,
mean,
but just like, why, my dude? Like,
taking your anger out on the wrong person is one thing, dude, but this guy was literally missing his face by the time this was said and done, dude.
Holy
It
shit.
was-
He went hard.
My understanding of it could totally be misplaced. Is that I think like just in his like whether it's heartbreak or reluctance or just like whatever he's feeling right now.
His
I
sexual frustration because he's not getting that good anymore.
think well.
I think he could.
I mean-
was the
No,
Yeah.
I really think that like his interpretation of this is like I'm not going to be doing that with Rhaenyra. Like that was a mistake. I've dishonored myself, and like I'm not gonna let her husband do that to her.
Right.
Is kind of how I interpreted it.
Almost of him going super hard on the being her protector role. Like,
Correct.
I see, and
Way
I don't think
above
it
and
came
beyond.
from a place of protection. Like initially, I could see why
Well,
you
no,
would think that, but I didn't get that vibe at all. I more got the impression like, dude, he fucking snapped, and this guy
But why
gave him a
him?
fucking reason,
Obviously,
dude.
he
He
fucking
gave him a
snapped.
reason. And he's like, all right, dude, that's all I needed. I don't feel like it was out of a place for protection. Like, oh, this guy knows her secret and we have to protect it. No, I don't think it was that.
not
not
No,
like that.
and I see what you're saying as far
Okay.
as just protecting her virtue more is what you're saying.
Yeah, more
to
of
an
just like a
extent, like-
super, like you said, he definitely cracks, and it's just like probably somewhere in his mind there's just like this hyper reaction to, I have to protect her and her feelings from
Yeah,
this,
Yeah.
other lover of her husband type thing.
Yeah.
I think it was just an overreaction.
Okay.
That's a classic overreaction.
I have
Classic.
got to say this, man. So this music starts playing, Scott, and
Is it choral?
Choral.
the choral
Coral.
the choral music starts playing, and it's got this just beautiful piano melody. It is gorgeous, man. It's one like I mean, this gave me flashes to the Winds
Light
of
of
Winter.
the Seven, as in,
Light of the Seven, Winds of Winter episode. Yes, I mean it was.
I
it
was
was
thinking
gorgeous.
the exact same thing.
And
Very Light of
we
the
get
Seven
this
vibes.
cut, and maybe one of my single favorite shots in both series ever is Criston Cole kneeling down at the God's Wood with the moon shining behind the tree. It is
gorgeous.
One hell of a fucking shot, dude. It looks so fucking good. Like that needs to be somebody's wallpaper somewhere. It was just so powerful.
It was very good. The shot that really resonated with me in this end scene was at the very end when they're having the very, joyous weddings are always joyous occasions, and this
puddle
one,
of blood.
More joyous than most for sure.
The
but
rat?
yes, the very backed out shot, so you get like in the background. I believe at that point, Viserys had collapsed, so
Yes.
it's like all of them up there, and there's the blood from what had happened previously, the previous carnage, the Cole carnage.
Have you guys?
Just like the rat, and just like it was just framed very well, and just like super cool shot.
Have you guys picked up on all of the sequences involving rats? So one of the two sequences
good
specifically come to mind. As Rhaenyra is leaving for her night out on the town with Daemon before never mind. But as she's walking past, what's the huge dragon skull that's there in the?
Oh yeah.
So
Balerion.
there's two rats
there.
on the dragon skull. And then later on, shortly after, Rhaenyra makes the reference, like, I don't want to just be somebody's, like, baby factory. They show Alicent, and then there's a rat at the bedpost. And it sort of signifies...
on the banister. Like
Right.
Like,
and to me, it sort of signified, like, where you see rats is what, like, the destiny of each character is. With Rhaenyra intended to be on dragons, and Alicent intended to be in beds, making heirs. There's been a lot of references to rats, and I think they come at really crucial parts.
I think there's definitely some type of like intention behind that. That's a good call out. Now I hadn't thought about.
Are the rats wearing green? Symbolism.
True.
Fuck. Are the rats wearing green?
What happens just before that puddle of blood and rat scene or shot is the music cuts right when Alicent calls out to Sir Criston.
Is it choral music?
Like he's about to kill himself.
Yeah.
I mean, he really is about to like put it in his belly,
Yeah.
and she just says Sir Criston, and the music cuts, and like he looks up, and it's just her standing there in the moonlight, and that also is just beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean,
I really thought he was gonna do it. Like I thought
he was too.
I thought it was over for our boy Sir Crisco.
How do we think Alicent plays this card? I really want to know your guys' thoughts on what she does with this information. Or
I mean, she has major dirt on Rhaenyra, obviously now. Rhaenyra's only choice is gonna be to get with Daemon. Like I feel like that's her only.
But
option
how?
At this point? Listen, Supercut's Daemon killed his wife. He'll find a way to kill her husband. Like he'll get it done.
Or Alicent drives that wedge between them. She's she is not quote pure, right?
Right, sure, that could be too.
Yeah, that could be a part of it. But I do think I agree with you, Scott. I do think we've said this for a while now that I feel like she's gonna end up with Daemon in some way, shape, or form.
Mm-hmm.
It would be interesting though, because like if she ends up with Daemon, what kind of rift does that cause between
House Velaryon and
Daemon?
House Velaryon. I mean, that's a big army that they need, or big navy that they need. And half of the dragons.
Not to mention, if I'm not mistaken, doesn't the daughter of the sister ride the biggest dragon alive at the time? Didn't I hear that somewhere? Probably not as important, but
No.
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
One of them's
like missing.
Vhagar, and Vhagar, right? Vhagar, right, Scott?
I think so. That sounds right.
Meraxes.
Viserys was the last writer of Vhagar, right? Isn't that what he said in like the second episode? And Vhagar is like currently just kind of AWOL. Just
Yeah. Okay,
nesting
you're right.
somewhere.
You're right.
That's got to be
either way.
That's got to be the biggest current one because that would be the oldest. I would assume.
Either way, you're absolutely right. Like I don't, and I guess that's where the huge conflict, where you could even say it's where it's even like somewhat of an evenly matched fight is, House Valerion versus House Targaryen.
Sure.
And then some of the other houses support whoever, but that's the only way to keep this even somewhat of a fair fight.
That's like the whole thing is like, I don't know how these lines are drawn because it would seem like at first, like the way I see this going, and maybe I'm way off, but like Valerion would go in one direction, Rhaenyra and Daemon would go as like a second faction, but then you've also got like Alicent and Aegon as like, the current reigning champions, the ones almost holding the throne. So it's just, I just don't know where, I guess what I'm trying to say is, I don't know which side Valerian lands on between.
Do you think that it's going to be a two-sided war?
It might not be, and that's the whole thing.
Yeah,
like
I was thinking about that too.
It could well be a 3, or even more like conflict. And I think whichever way Valerian goes is going to be.
I feel like Valerian's got the cards, man. Like they're the ones that come out on top in that situation, just because they have half the dragons, they've got the navy, and through the right marriages, they can easily secure a huge army.
Right. We didn't talk about it much.
Laena wed the Bravosi person, right?
Did she?
I don't think so.
Are you is that the daughter, the younger?
I think so. Yeah, I think that was.
Maybe she did. Well, also Daemon was macking on her pretty hard too.
No, that was the older one. They have 3 kids.
Oh, okay. What do we think?
Wasn't that the one that
situation?
Viserys was gonna wed?
No, I guess it's a different one.
Yes.
I guess not that much time has passed. I was thinking more time had passed.
Yeah. But... So I don't know the name of the older one, the one that Daemon was dancing with, but the younger one, Laena. I obviously I could be totally mistaken. If I am, somebody out there let us know. But I'm pretty sure that Laena was betrothed to somebody from
some
Bravos.
Prince, yeah.
And
I thought they were twins, Laena and Laenor.
I don't think they are. I mean, again, could be wrong, but I don't know.
No, he's got.
She's much older now, though. Like it's probably around the same age as Laenor. Whatever. Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. What I was gonna say was I did find it a little interesting. We didn't talk about this much, but from like the Valerian, is it Rhaenys, right? Is the princess the other princess?
Yeah, Rhaenys.
She didn't seem to be like super down for this. She like was just kind of like, we're just putting our son in danger type situation. Yep. And
well, she sees what's going to happen.
More. Yes.
Right. I agree with you, Zach. I think she's a interesting, underrated character, and I would like to see more.
Yeah, I want to see more of her. I want to see like more of like her decisions instead of her just kind of like being there on the sideline, because I think that she will make some crucial decisions in this show.
Right.
But I loved that she was like, that is something that I myself have put behind me. Like,
right.
When will you? Like, it's just a good character moment. I like that. I really, really appreciated that. Because I have been wondering, like, what is her stance on all this?
So
well, yeah, because he was not letting that shit go from episode 2 or 3. This isn't even the first mention of it.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't let it go since she was snuffed at the throne.
Snuffed at the throne, like very first scene of episode 1. Yeah. Do we think the next episode just starts with Viserys's dead
funeral?
gone? or will he be like still in the process of dying?
I think this is where we see the flash forward in time, and I think they skip all of that altogether. And I
think we're gonna get a funeral.
You think so?
For that, I think so.
I think it'll probably start with his funeral, which just makes me so sad. That's my boy, Patty. They killed my boy, Patty. All right, if this is the last we see of him, R.I.P. to my fucking guy. But I mean, we all knew it was coming. Everyone and their grandmother knew it was fucking coming. It was only a matter of time. His arm looked so gross.
Yeah. I am curious. I feel like we're at this point of the episode. Who won for you guys? Who is the winner of this week's episode?
Ooh.
Supercuts Daemon?
I don't know.
I'm all in on Supercuts Daemon, and I'm saying I don't think it was Supercuts Daemon.
I mean, who do you think?
Who would it? Alicent?
It might be Alicent.
Okay, I gotta briefly call out my boy Marcus here, because he has been, every time I brought up Alicent, he's been like so against it and like hating on me so much. So now who's wrong, Marcus? Like, Alicent really coming into her own.
Okay. So, I mean, this is an obvious answer. It's Jason Lannister.
Jason Lannister, yes.
Jason
Bravo.
Lannister, true.
Jason fucking Lannister. That joke was goated.
I don't know that I give it to Viserys this week. No. I don't think it's Viserys'. I mean, clearly, it's definitely not his week.
He literally might have died. I think it's Alicent.
It should be Rhaenyra, but the uncertainty takes it away from her, because who knows what's gonna happen after this.
Yeah, dude, she was like sobbing at her wedding. I don't think it's her.
No, I think it's Alicent. It's Alicent's episode.
It's definitely Alicent.
Hardly, I
could get behind
not much
that,
dialogue, but she played a very easy fiddle when it comes to Crisco, but she still played it.
Yes.
Made
it's definitely not
there.
Sir Crisco. I think we can all agree on that. My dude is in shambles over here.
Dude, I really hope that music that we heard is like her music. Like,
that would be cool.
Like, I hope that's her theme, or like her motif.
Yeah.
Oh, fucking hell, dude. I'm gonna go listen to that.
What do we rate this episode, boys?
I'm gonna say a 9.5.
Chaz?
The more we've talked, I would have said a 10 before this episode, but you guys have called out a few things that take it out of a perfect 10. So I'm with Zach on this one. Yeah. I'm with Zach on this one at a 9.5, and I want to say this is, in my opinion, the best episode of House of the Dragon.
I think that's without question in my mind.
Yeah.
I don't want. I was leaning 9.5, but I don't want recency bias to like sway me too much.
But I don't want to agree with you guys.
No. It wasn't that at all. I honestly had 9.5 in my head, but it could be just I'm super hype in the moment. I'll go 9 because I think it could be even better. Oh, this episode was real good.
It was insane, man. Legit. I'm gonna watch it probably a couple more times this week. And Chaz kind of kicked it off strong by saying it could be in the conversation of one of the better Game of Thrones. And I think that's a very real conversation. I don't think that's outlandish at all. It is incredible.
You know what's wild is me being like the serial rewatcher amongst us. I have not rewatched a single episode of this show yet.
Interesting.
Which is a little odd for me. Definitely won't, I think, be rewatching episode 4 ever again. This one just makes me feel like that episode was even worse in comparison. But man, this episode was good. It was real fucking good.
Okay, so we're in agreement. Alicent wins the episode, and I think we have a democratic ruling here. 9.5.
Yeah, we'll go with 9.5.
9.5's
all around.
I'm very good with 9.5.
you're good with a solid 9.5.
I'd like to see the things that you could do with the 9.5.
Before this episode, it was closer to like a 7.5, dude. But this episode brought out an extra 2 in me. I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
I highly doubt it was a 7.5.
Did you have final thoughts, Chazzy?
My girlfriend's listening, like, you fucking liar. I love Daemon, man. Daemon is
Supercuts Daemon. Please
no.
give him his proper title.
Hashtag riding rope since the beginning, bro. Okay.
Riding rope.
Riding rope.
That's a good hashtag. That's a good hashtag.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I think we're going to go ahead and call it there, guys. We appreciate you all for listening. And if you guys are new here, hit the like and subscribe button so you can continue and follow along the rest of this journey with us. And be sure to hit us up on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook at We Don't Want a Pod. We'll have links to all that fun stuff down below. Appreciate you guys, and we will see you all next time.
And thank you for joining us, Chaz. We love you.
Thanks for having.
Yeah, formalities.
Zach, you're a dick.
Titles. Chaz, we love you, buddy. We appreciate you being on the pod with us. So.
Appreciate you having me on, as always, and we're going to talk about this constant slander on the next episode that I am featured on.
Nope, cut it. That's it. It's the end of the episode.
Out. We're out. Get out. Get out.